everyone, welcome to part 2 where I have been colouring this cute little page from Autumn Harvest by Teresa Goodridge, and I've, as you can see, done some of it in the first video. We're going to be doing some of the details today, adding a bit more colour. So not very bright at the moment, but we will get there. Now our cauldron is my next item to do. Just trying to move you up a tad, there we go. Now I'm thinking I usually do black. I might go for a grey rather than a black, just so that I can add some black in areas that I want to be a bit darker. I'm having a look here. We have these areas here, can you see? These are marked on where we are supposed to leave a bit of shine. Now I find it very difficult colouring around areas like this. So what I'm going to do is colour over it and then maybe use it as a guide when I put some white pencil on top. Pen on top. If you don't have a white pen, then you may want to leave those areas clear, but I'm going to go over them when I colour. So I've picked my Paynes grey, the Polychromos that we're going to be using, and I'm going to actually start on this inside back bit here. And I feel that this would be quite dark, particularly under here where I think there's a sort of overhanging rim. That's how I sort of see it anyway. And so I'm just going to make it quite dark there and then just fade it down a little bit to our potion, whatever it is in here. When I first saw that, I thought it just looked like a big load of sort of popcorn. And then I realised, no, actually those are bubbles. It's a sort of bubbly potion, I think. So we will do it in appropriate colour later. I'm not sure what this bit here is as opposed to this bit here. I think I'm just going to colour over it in the same way. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter in the middle here. Like that, make it a bit dark on the edges, just to give it the feel that it's a bit shiny, that some areas are a bit darker than others where they're reflecting the light more. And as we come round to the front, we'll do the same sort of thing where we make it lighter in that centre area, just lining it up with there. Now of course most things that are shiny, their shine is not symmetrical like that. These aren't quite, but I find it a lot easier to colour it like that, and so that's why I do it that way. Now the main cauldron are very similar, darker edges and a bit lighter down that centre. So just colouring away, layering up here on the edge, and then we'll do less layers towards the middle. I think the bottom might be quite dark too, so I've put an initial layer. I'm just going to go back and forth a little bit to darken it up like that. Had a lovely morning this morning. I did the first part of this page, the first video, which would, I guess, yesterday's video for you, and then went out. My husband's off work on a Monday, so he came with me, left my son studying, and there was a vintage market on. There is one on every Monday, and I'd asked if they had any buttons, and she said she would let me know if she could bring them. If it's raining, she can't bring as much stock because it gets wet. The buttons were in a cardboard box, you know. But it wasn't raining, so she bought them for me, and I had a good sort through because I wanted some green buttons, because I'm going to be making some Christmas decorations out of buttons, Christmas trees. So I wanted some different sizes of green buttons. Didn't matter about the shapes. I mean, obviously round, but I mean, you know, the designs where they have 2 holes or 4 holes or that sort of thing. I didn't want anything too rounded because they need to stack on top of each other. Basically, I've looked on Etsy. I just had an advert for Etsy because I look at Etsy, and it showed these little Christmas trees made from buttons, and I just thought I could do it. I just thought, that looks quite easy. I can figure out easily how those are made. I'm going to have a go. So I had a go with my own buttons, and I managed to make a couple, but my buttons aren't quite the right sizes and shapes and colours and things like that. So I ended up making a Christmas tree that was black and one that was multicoloured, which was quite nice. I'm just going over these darker areas. I just want to get a nice graduation of colour, just smoothing things out really. So I had a go, and I could see that I could make it work. So I asked the market person if they were bringing them, and she said she would if it was, she'd let me know. And at 5 o'clock this morning she sent me a message saying, yep, I'm going to bring them. So I came along and had a look. I've never bought anything from there before, but basically there's just tables along the street, so many different things. There was a lot of fabrics and sewing things, you know, cotton reels with cotton on and things like that. And I picked up some gold twine, which I thought might be quite useful for what I was doing, and also some white cotton, because I'm running low on white cotton, and white cotton is most useful. And it looked nice and clean and newish, you know. There's not all vintage, it's just old things, you know. So I picked up those and bought 4 egg cups full of buttons, which is how she sells them, by the egg cupful, and it cost me £6 for all these buttons. And some the cotton and the twine, they were used, you know. They were obviously, it just wasn't a whole amount, but it just looked perfect for what I wanted, so that was really good. I'm not sure if this needs to be darker. I'm just racking my brains thinking, I think I will get some black in there. Let's grab our black and put, oh, I'm casting a shadow there. Hang on, put some under the brim here. There we go. Let's get this bit looking quite a lot darker to start with, because this is the darkest bit. That's better. Oh, I'm much happier with that. Now this bit, because it's on the top, you're going to be catching the light, you know, the moonlight. We haven't got any light. We're sort of pretending there's light, but here it's a bit darker, so I'm going to put a bit of black here. So yes, it was great fun rummaging through all the buttons, and there were white buttons separated off, and you can make these sort of white button snowmen, but I couldn't quite find what I wanted in the white. But I found lots of green buttons, slightly different colour, shapes and sizes, which will work just perfectly, I think, for what I want to do. Until I've tipped them out and put them into size order, I won't be completely sure, but I think so. So that's good news. So that was fun. We went in a bookshop and I saw a lovely calendar which I bought for us to use, because we always use a wall calendar to put our appointments on, but it tends to, I always forget to buy one. I'm putting in some shadow, hopefully you can see, and I want a good shadow under here. So I saw a really pretty one, so I bought it. It's I didn't bring it through actually. It's by an artist. It's got a lovely little picture each month, which is very pretty. Right, that's those two at the minute. I'm not going to do the white for now because I've got other things to do on here. We need to do this handle. Now I think I decided pretty much from the start to do it in a lighter colour. So I think if I use the cold grey 4 to do it, then we can start at the end quite dark and start at this end quite dark, and then reduce it so we've got a bit of a shine in the middle. We can do the same on both sides like that. And this looks like wood, so we need some wood. Doesn't really matter where we start. I'm going to start with a raw umber. I'm going to put that all over it. There we go, and then get slightly darker colour. Where is it? There it is, the Van Dyck brown. I'm afraid it's sharpened off. It says that Dyck brown. And I think it's going to be a bit darker at the bottom. Let's pop in a bit of a shadow there with our darker brown, and then follow along this line that's drawn on here, colouring that sort of knot in the wood. A bit darker at the bottom there. There we go. Right, now I think inside our cauldron, actually I'm just wondering, let me just point with my pencil. So we've got this bottle and there's a drip. I thought this bit here was coming out of the bottle too, but I think that's actually the back of the cauldron. So I'm just going to colour that bit in there. So we've got a bottle with a drip of something and all this bubbly thing. I'm thinking, I quite often do a bubbly potion in a green like slime, but let's do it in a bright pink. I thought would be fun and different. So the fuchsia pink here. I think pink can be quite Halloweeny as well. As well as all our usual sort of oranges, blacks, red. I'm going to make it a little bit darker in some places. Then I'm going to get a much lighter pink. This is the Pink Madder Lake. I'm going to go over all of it so it's sort of burnished. I think it might then risk all looking the same colour. Yeah, it is. So I'm going to go back to those areas that want a bit darker and use a darker colour. I think I used the red violet. Here it is. Red violet. It's certainly looking very bright. So I'm going to put a darker bit in there along this rim of the actual cauldron and sort of around some of the rounded bits, just so that it looks like it's a bit blobby, bubbly, that sort of thing. Now the drip coming out of this bottle, I'm thinking we could do a different colour to the colour in the cauldron just for fun. So I was thinking, let's do a really sort of a green, a sort of bright green, which is this is light green. I'm going to make it that colour, just to be a bit different. Well, it's a magical potion, you know, I'm just sort of thinking it'd be a bit different, a bit, you know, when that drips in it might all explode. You know. Now I have a spoon here. This is my next thought. I know perhaps I should be doing the bottle, but I'm thinking about the spoon. I'm thinking wooden spoon. Oh dear, big yawn. So I'm going to use the brown ochre and just colour it in. Now because we've got this tree here which is dark wood, I'm going to keep this quite light. I'm thinking wooden spoons tend to be light wood anyway. So I'm going to put a few lines in it like that to make it look a bit more woody, and then this bit be a bit more shadowy because it's dipped in like that. Okay, just a few, this is quite simple. This bottle I'm going to do I think we're going to use the this one. This is the deep cobalt green. I'm thinking, you know, dark bottle green type colour going on. So, but I'm not going to press really hard. Around the rim here, we want to leave a light bit. So you've got a bit of a shine there drawn on, but I want the bottle to look quite glassy. And to do that, I fade it to the middle. I'm going to colour over this line again. Like that, and it looks like it's got a shine on it, which helps give the illusion that it's glass, making the edges dark gives the illusion that it's round, and it doesn't really take too long. Now, I am not sure here, has our gnome got gloves on? Because this one up here that you can't see in shot, is I can see a finger, whereas he looks like he's got mittens on. I was just thinking, you know, because doing the skin colour, or do I do mittens? I think I do it as mittens. The hat is rather cool, isn't it? I think we've got a sunflower, haven't we? I was going to do the stars in our green gold, but now I'm thinking we've got a sunflower there, which is going to be yellow. It's quite near to it. I think gold is better than silver though, so I'm going to do them in green gold. These star, all the star shapes. I have a little idea. Now what you could do is colour the hat and colour over all these stars in the same colour as the hat. It would be a lot easier. And then go over them in a pen, you know, either a white or a metallic or a glitter pen, something like that. You could just mark on the outline, or you could block in the whole star, you know, either way really. And if you spent a long time colouring the hat, you might want to just do the outline so that you're not colouring right over everything that you've already done and sort of obscuring all your hard work. But I'm doing it the awkward way and colouring the stars in. I'm just blocking them in. There's no special technique. I just want them fairly burnished, you know, fairly dark and vibrant is what I mean. Yes, so husband is drawing dragons. He's decided he wants to do a few dragon drawings, and so he's had to, as is his whim, buy a couple of books on it, and he wants another one. And you know, he's very good at researching everything but not actually then always doing it. This is gold. This is the metallic gold. I'm going to go on top of the green gold with this, try and make it look a little bit more shiny. Now on its own this metallic gold is a bit rubbish. If you put it on top of other colours, it's slightly better. It's still not brilliant. There are much better metallic pencils available than this one, but it is quite a nice way to use it. You know, I feel like I should use it from time to time because it's there. So if you use it on top of another colour, it just gives it a bit more vibrancy really. I'm really surprised they put these in. It's, you know, the Polychromos does have a good range of colours, but there are a few which I think could be switched out. We could do with a few pastels, a really pastely pink, purple. They used to have a light violet, which I do have. You know, a light, and some maybe, yeah, really light pink I think would be nice. And you know, you could swap out this gold or the copper or the silver, but also there are a few colours that are really close together. I would like yeah, a peach as well would be nice, even though weirdly I don't use peach very often when I have it in other sets. And I think it's because I'm not used to having one, so I don't, you know, not used to using it. It sounds very ungrateful and silly. That's not bad. And I'm going to do the hat blue. I think blue and gold works really well together rather than black. I've got a black cauldron, we don't need a black hat. I'm just going to have a look at what we've got. I think I might use this one actually, the indanthrene blue. I think that might work quite nicely. I'm going to put a light layer on first, because there is Oh, excuse me, there are certain areas that I will want darker than others. So I'll just get a light layer down first, and then I will darken some areas. Yeah, I think that works well. Blue and yellow, blue and gold work very well together, I think. Oh, I have to remember I need to cook early tonight, because husband wants... Oh, excuse me, I've got hiccups on some roasted vegetables. It take a little bit longer to cook. So that'll be it'll be nice though. But it's quite good because you start early and you prep them up early, and then you can just forget all about them for a while they just cook off on their own. I'm a big fan of throwing food in the oven and then just leaving it to cook itself. It's and because I'm very quick at chopping and prepping veg, having done it for so long, then it doesn't take very long at all. So it's I find it a great option. When my son it's just me and him, I often do a tray bake, throw some veg and chickpeas or veg and tofu into the oven, and then it's just done. I've got this buckle, and it's like a belt, isn't it? I'm not really sure what it is, but we'll do that later. I think we'll do all of this and this bit. It's not all going to stay the same colour. It will be worked out in a bit. Now his nose, gnomes, I think I'm going to do him in a sort of pale skin tone. I think that's what they are. I don't think a nose will be like bright red or anything like that, but I could make it a little bit red on the end. I don't know whether it would look cute though or a bit weird. I'm really trying to go for cute, not weird. So we'll see. Right, so there is our layer down on the hat. What I'm going to do now is in this bit here, this is the inside, there would be some shadow here from the top of the hat, so I'm just going to colour that in and then gently reduce that to the edge like that. Okay, I'm going to do the same over on this side. Oh, excuse me. Okay, now for the brim part, I think it would be darker here and lighter in the middle. Obviously his nose is there. How does the hat fit behind his nose? I do not know. We don't question that. We mustn't think about that. That's a no. So we just start colouring, and it's just about making this bit here a little bit darker, and then sort of knocks the dark towards that centre there. I'm just going to sharpen my pencil. And get back at it a little bit. Now we don't want it quite as dark as this bit down here, but if it ends up getting a bit too close, you'll just put a bit of black there. I might do that anyway. I will see how it looks at the end. So darker here, a few more layers of colour on that edge, and then a bit less as we go across here. Oh, there's a dog barking outside. So I'm trying to make it a little darker along the edges, and then a lightish sort of fade it towards the middle. It gets harder as it gets smaller to have any space for fading. I was thinking I was going to open the blind then because it seemed a bit dark outside and the sun's come out. go, but it was very pretty out. The leaves are starting to change colour on the hills, things like that, so it's looking very nice. Right, we've got quite a lot of light area in here, which is what I wanted, but it doesn't look finished. So I'm going to pick a lighter colour blue. I think the sky blue is the best. And I'm going to go over the central area a little bit so that I can burnish it without it getting too dark. You can do this with a white or a blender as well, but I think there'll be no harm in having a little bit of lighter blue spread on top anyway, so I think it will probably work out quite well, like this. Trying to make sure I go up to the edges of everything. It's not really an excuse, although I'm not very good at it, not getting right to the edge. I see people who've done oil pastels or watercolour paints and things not going quite out to the edge, and I can understand why, because they mix together and that might not be what you're looking for, but with pencil that often usually doesn't happen, so you should be able to go right to the edge of something. There we go. Now this band around here, I'm going to actually do it in black. I think it will stand out quite well. So here's our black. Got a black cauldron. I'm going to make it a bit, see, is that the top? I don't know. Make it a bit darker than the cauldron. I'm going to start to fade it towards the middle though. That will help to emphasise that roundedness of the hat, so a little bit lighter in here, and then dark here, and fade towards the buckle. Yeah, I think we might want a little bit of shadow there and there from the buckle, but I think apart from that it's fine. Now the buckle I was going to do in gold, but we have got gold stars, but I think if I do a proper gold rather than just using a little bit of yellow, it might work. So I'm going to start with the Van Dyke brown just because we've used that already today, and put it in the corner here, and this corner, and a little bit here and here, and here, and here. Then I'm going to use the brown ochre. Oh, there it is. Put a little bit down each side of there and extend these darker areas up and down. A little bit more there. Then we can grab our green gold and finish off this bit. Leave a bit of white for shine. Same here, we're going to this corner and leaving a sort of white bit in the corner. Same along here, like that, and then a little bit of white in the centre. There we go. Hopefully he looks a little bit gold. His nose next. I'm going to try the beige red. Oops. This is obviously the beige red. It's changed its name. And I'm going to try and get just quite a smooth finish to start with, I guess. Although, no, because it's rounded it to be dark on the edges. Let's put a bit more on the edges. Yes, I've got a darker edge. This bit needs burnishing. I'm going to use some ivory. Here it is, ivory. Just to go in the middle part. There he is. Now I'm going to ignore the beard for now because it's white. I want it to be white. Not sure, or moustache, whatever it is. Not sure whether to use a white pen to leave it, what to do really, so I'm just going to ignore it for a bit. And we've got this cloak, well, we've got a bit on this side, not on this side. I'm just thinking about my background colour, potentially what's going to go with the hat. We could do it the same colour as the hat, but I think that's a little bit boring. So I know, we'll go for a blue violet. So it should hopefully work together with the hat. Now, is that beard there? Because this one in the sky, which you can't see, doesn't seem to have hair below there. There's another gnome picture at the front. I'm just going to check it. I think. Maybe I'm lying. Get a quick flip through of the book while I'm looking. Sorry. But I just want to have a quick look to see what they actually look like. Here's one, and he's got like a bit underneath, but no moustache. So what's that? Still not 100% sure what to do. Are there any behind? I don't think there are any more, actually. No. Okay. I think I'm going to leave it as a white, like a beard. This being moustache, this being beard. So we're just going to do the cuffs. I'm just going to start colouring. This bit under here will be quite dark, so I can layer that up quite a bit, and then put a bit less, so go up here. But let's put a bit more on. There we go, and the same on this side. And fade it upwards. There we go. And then we need to do this bit too, and I think under there might be quite dark because it's got like the shadow of the cuff bit. This bit down here. There we go. Right, now gloves. We could do Delft blue, or we could do, I think no, we'll do dark indigo for the gloves. Okay. This does, I always think it looks almost black. It's so dark. I'm thinking darker down here at the bottom, maybe even around the side there a little bit. So dark at the bottom. Sort of faded up. There we go. Now, oh, that's my foot clonking. To do this sunflower, I can't work out whether the sunflower is part of the hat or if it's growing behind him. It doesn't really matter. But I'm going to use my light yellow ochre to do the bottoms of each of the petals. Sorry. Like this. And then the tips I'm going to do in the Naples yellow. I think these are quite nice yellows. There we go. The centre, we've got all sorts of markings in there, but I want it to be quite dark. So I'm going to grab my walnut brown and go over it lightly, and then mark out some of the patterning. So I'm going to do the very edge quite dark, and then we can see it's got this sort of flower shape on it, which I'm just going to colour over a little bit. So the background is sort of dark. There we go. It's quite quick. Now, got my pencils rolling everywhere. Got our little wagon of pumpkins. Wooden wagon, I think. What colour wood should we do? Let's start with a light colour. Let's start with brown ochre and just do a layer all over. Then we'll think about putting some darker colour on. You could do it more colourful if you wanted, as if it was painted, but I quite like the wood look. I'm going to put it darker under here. I'm thinking that little rim might be casting a shadow under that bit of string there. So maybe between each bit of wood, like that, just a tad. I think I want this bit darker, particularly here and here. And then I'm going to get my Van Dyck brown and mark out the markings that are here. I'm tempted to just go over all of it with this really lightly, just to sort of burnish it and darken it a bit. So it's just a really light layer. Yeah, that's better. Now these sort of screws, I'm going to make them a bit darker, as if they're wooden dowels. Now our wheels, I'm thinking black rubber, that sort of thing. So let's do those. Again, we've got little marks on them as if they're shiny, but we'll draw those back in. Right, so the back one I think would be quite a bit darker. Now, I think they'd be darker at the bottom, just because they're nearer to the ground. Things nearer the ground I think are darker, and a bit of dark bit up the side here and here, like that. And then the centre, I thought I could just do quite bright, like a red. This is the scarlet red. Make it a bit darker and round the edge. Do the same with this one, a bit darker around the edge. And then the string, why not? There we go. Now pumpkins, I have been colouring and colouring and colouring so many pumpkins. This, oh no, I don't want that one yet. Hang on. So we start with a cadmium orange and colour them over, light layer, all over. Gosh, this is a big pumpkin, isn't it? Okay, then we get the dark cadmium orange, which I'm going to sharpen. And we start to mark out the darker areas. So here, and then scumble that out towards the edge, and here, scumbling it out. It's the same sort of thing on each little. Oh, that dog barked, made me jump. I saw the dog earlier actually when I was out being walked. It's often in the garden. Okay. Making me jump apparently. It's got quite a nice bark actually, but just was sudden and loud. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the cadmium orange and go back over all these areas. So starting here again, over that dark bit and just take it out to the edge. I'm going to put a little bit on the edge of each edge of that, like that. I'm never quite sure what colour to colour pumpkins, whether they're darker orange. I always think they can be quite pale really, paler than you might think, but it's nice to colour them vibrant, isn't it? There we go, and we're going to use this dark chrome yellow, which is, you can see, quite orangey, to just finish off the edges where the bits that I didn't do, just to give a really bright, vibrant edge to each pumpkin. There we go. Now I want to put a little bit of shadow in. I think I've got a dark sepia here somewhere. No. Here's a dark sepia. And between the pumpkins here, there'd be a bit of shadow, I think. I'm going to draw it in a little bit. And just put a bit in to emphasise the shadows that I've been trying to make with my orange. There'd be a little bit thrown up from the edge of the card as well. Go. Right, the stalks we need to just do as well. I think I might just start with this colour and see where it takes us. This is the permanent green. I'm going to colour this one here. Ooh. We've got a few bits here, look, and this leaf, which I will make dark at the bottom and the top. And then this one as well. We've missed a bit of the pumpkin there, haven't we? I'm just going to use the cadmium orange quickly to just do there. Right, I need some darker and lighter colour for my green. I'm going to use a bit of the chromium green opaque to do some of the dark areas. There's some lines drawn on here which I'm going to use to sort of guide me a bit, but basically I want some shadow on each side, a bit of dark in the bottom of that leaf, and then a bit of dark here and shadow on that bottom edge. And then I'm actually going to go over it all with the May green because I think it looks too different to the greens we've done already. So here is the May green. Oops, I just going to go over it all. And it will just change that tone a little bit. A little bit more yellowy rather than bluey. Okay, now that is the end of the pencil work, but I am going to do a little bit of pen work before I finish. Just to make a bit of space. There we go. Okay, this is my Jelly Roll 10, and I'm going to put some, I'm tempted, I'm going to outline each star in a bit of white to help it stand out a bit from the hat. It's going to be a little bit fiddly. I think it will be worthwhile. I'm so thirsty. Go and get a drink in a minute. I was going to wait till my son got in at 3, but it's 1:45. Let's just go and get one. I can have another one when he comes in, can't I? I think that's looking very much better. It helps them to stand out and look more vibrant somehow. I'm holding my breath almost. Come on, these. I'm sort of drawing, aren't I? That's why. Down to the bottom. Now I haven't filled in this beard at all. I'm gonna knock back some of the black lines a little bit, but not all of it. I'll show you. So I'm just going to put a little bit on the edge, like that. So it's not quite so intensely black. There we go. You can put some general lines across as well, but I think the paper is quite white. Okay, I've got this line on our bottle which I'm going to try and rub out. Now sometimes you can just make them disappear. And I'm going to draw my own new line in there. A little bit on the thing. I'm going to put a few dots in our cauldron. Now again, on the cauldron we've got these lines. It's going to be difficult to erase all of it, but I might be able to do a bit. Because I don't really want them there. You see, because I'm not getting very much white out and I haven't coloured it very dark, I'm almost erasing them. What I am going to do, because this one shows up a bit, is to put a bit of shine in, fill this one in. I'm going to have to do a few layers there, and here. So I've got these bits on the feet. And the wheels of our cart. So I think what it's going to need is for me to leave this to dry and do a few layers here. The same here. just so that it fills in properly and looks neat. It's not very easy to do, to be honest. I find if you leave it to dry and then come back to it, it can help. I'm going to put a few dots on the sunflower here, on the petally bits that are in the inside, like that. I think that's enough. I just need to redo this a bit. Sometimes you can just do it, sometimes it just doesn't want to play. So probably okay there. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to leave it there. Let's come out so you can see the whole thing. Don't feel like we've done loads, but I guess we've been doing like little details and things. But I've had a lot of fun anyway. We've got cat, bats, spider, and another gnome to do, a gnome witch on a broom. So that should be fun. I may decide to do the gnome's beards in grey, in a light grey. At the moment, I'm quite liking it in white, but you know, I'll wait and see. And you can always do a grey one if you don't like the white yourself. But anyway, for today, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day. And oh, let's put it straight. There we go. And happy colouring.